Ladies and gentlemen, it's NaVi versus Heroic. Map to the good, NaVi starting on the T side. Not a great state of affairs, but still, they'll be absolutely fine with that prospect. 2 PD50s in armor coming out. That's simple. And Edward, as Freiburg will be challenged outside towards the main entrance.
Mert's position behind AC gets first peek. That means Freiburg will play off of that, but they drop down. They dropped from silo and therefore went right over top of the main entrance. It could be NaVi's first pistol as Stag, suddenly realizing that, wraps back out from heaven. He and a Cillian, though. Crossfire potential. And not only that, from Lockers, take the bomb back, which means the round swings, but swings back the other direction yet again as Electronic finds 2.
Well, then BlameF managed to get 3 kills in the second half pistol of Overpass. Can he replicate that result in a much more difficult task here? USP, no grenades, no kits, 3 kills to find. Edward tagged out this kill. That's actually the bomb. I'm not sure what Electronic is up to there, presumably trying to get towards lower. But now BlameF actually has a fighting chance here. He has the bomb. He has the ramp from a very strong position to hold by herself. He has to be wary of the players coming in from the lower bomb site, but actually pincering from the ladder position just here and the lobby, of course. And they're going to try and work together. Flamey can see the bomb, but does he dare go any closer until his teammate arrives?
Blame's cleared lower, but he's still not aware of this potential. He's looking for the information spots to the left. That's when the right needs to strike, and he's certainly considering that possibility. He found 3 kills in the second pistol last map. He's got 3 this time, and all in a 1-on-3 situation. That's a great way to welcome himself to the stage.
I'm sorry, that's Electronic just taking his eye off the ball for a split second there. He's alone, entering a key choke point. You don't have information. You were safe. You needed to stay together. He loses the bomb, and as I mentioned, that bomb going down, that's probably the worst place the bomb could have gone down. It's a solo position for CTs to hold. You have that ramp to play off, you have great angles and advantages, and we have a tactical timeout from NaVi coming in here. I would say force fire in this second round, that's just not an option for me. I don't think on a map like Nuke that's a very strong buy at all. I've got to get the AKs and the third, that's where you want to be positioned, but that's great news for BlameF. Like we said, slow start for him, couple of good rounds there, but starting off at that sort of round and getting that sort of confidence, your team really building you up, that's when we can see his star potential. He'll be in the zone. He won't be feeling like all the cameras are on him when he's not fragging. He'll feel like he wants to prove himself at this point. Tactical timeout comes in. Doesn't look like there's much discussion going on. I'd say this looks more technical to me, but we will see what happens.
Well, they did cite TAC, but he put .tac, so that might be the config command to actually call for the timeout. It may be technical in the end. We'll see either way as NaVi gets under it. If they hadn't started off with a pistol, keep in mind they're now 0-3 for pistols in this series. If they'd started out with a pistol T side, it's a fantastic thing to have on a map like Nuke. More so because this is Heroic's choice, and now they've got time to stretch their legs, a little bit of room for the economic situation to really, as they kind of did on Overpass, get a great start, maybe go toward that 5-0 scoreline, less common with the new meta, but certainly a possibility with the force buy yet again of pistols. This time, Simple is in on the buy, by the way.
It's a new thing they're trying, isn't it? Maybe this is in a kind of experiment sort of phase for them. They might have had great success along with it. I can tell you, not many teams have presented this sort of philosophy before. 2 players force buy, then the rest focus on those AKs. Obviously, we were expecting changes in the setup of CSGO with the change of the second round, but this is the first time I've really seen someone break the mold and actually consistently force buy just 2 players.
I'm curious as well if we see a bomb plant, perhaps, on a lost pistol round T side from NaVi. Yeah. Because obviously they didn't get that last time. Maybe they even go toward 1 AK early on. They could do a drop with an armor buy. It's possible.
That's the classic Simple, isn't it? That's where the term I kind of coined with tactical purchase. Simple really started doing that first as Electronic will find an opening towards the upper bomb side, but they've got a lot of work to do here. One of the most difficult maps to get that bomb down if you have no utility whatsoever. You're going to get picked off a range. The CTs can huddle up in very defensive position, very tight choke points, and you can see now Zeus. Does he have the bomb? He actually does. He can cheek a plant here. This could be quite nice.
I don't think so. Control room doors just open. Mertz is there too soon. You're right. It would have been brilliant, but they were a little bit too close for that. I just want to point out one of the things I've kind of noticed already with Blame.
Yeah.
And that's, you can tell he's come from a pug environment because when he gets to an angle and finds 1 kill, he instantly switches off that because he's expecting faster gameplay, which is something you see in pugs. People being a little more unorthodox. It's more about people just playing off of skill rather than team play. And you can see that once he clears an angle, he immediately expects someone to be somewhere else, and it happened to him there in lobby. Had the first kill, looked away, got killed by the second guy. With the slower gameplay and the mentality of pros, he needs to be a little more confident in his angles and just make sure that he really sticks to it and is aware that his teammates have the other ones covered off.
Well, they've got a lot of time to work together and practice as a team. This squad will not be featured at the major, of course, so we'll be seeing them kind of have time to actually work together and build themselves into 2019. I'm sure they will, as I think they've got firepower there. They've got some young guns and players hungry to prove themselves and stay relevant. When they're seeing Freiburg here, we saw Modi removed, the other Swede from the team, and Freiburg remains, and he's trying to make this team as efficient as lineups is in previously. They've got a lot of work to do, but so far so good on Nuke as we get into that third round. This will be the buy, I assume, from NaVi. I'm not sure until we get into the round, but they'll have 2 players on pistols, and indeed you can see the rifles on their back here. Nuke can be played in a very quick manner, especially on these sort of rounds. If you're not expecting the AWP, you can try and challenge that prospect. You know, there's a scout outside. You could actually easily quite challenge that with AKs towards the outer area. This could be the first round on the board for NaVi, as we see a Deagle and a UMP, and of course those Augs coming out.
And they're also certainly going to be extremely powerful. Ramp room even, if you want to look through the tight choke point at the control room, there's the scout. Good hit through the smoke onto Edward. But they're going to be powerful at the outside positions, such as Heaven, trying to support the player out there with the op, potentially, as Mertz will work toward. In this case, the scout, trying to find a bit of luck through the smoke. More tags would mean greater damage potential, certainly for Blame on the MP9. Smokes go away, a little bit late. Simple caught in the open. Vision is restored, and S-Tag's able to find the kill. They've already got Freiburg on the rotation as well, so he'll wait for the arrival downstairs. Another powerful position if you stack this up with the control room stairs. Bit of a change, obviously, in Nuke with the, it's been a while now, but with the vents and those stairs being a bit more of an S approach, you can't play as far back, but Freiburg manages to do just fine from decontamination side. Drops bomb. Edward sneaks in, wants to get closer and confrontational with the AK-47, but needs to pull back on the objective. That's the bomb in front. The outline on the floor. Without that, the round can't really go any further for NaVi, so they at least get back to position, but Asilian's already on the rotation. He'll take it back. And Edward really has nowhere to go except down, as Asilian covers off that angle as well.
So, jury's still out on this new approach from NaVi. Those 2 players force buying in the second round. If you don't get the bomb down, you can see how that really affects you going forward. You are only going to have 3 AKs in the first gun round. And the whole idea of that round, the whole idea of this change was you actually take away some of the weight from the pistol. The fact that you buy up in that second round, I feel like that kind of counteracts that sort of philosophy, and you're getting yourself in a position where you're on par with the CTs who have the lesser firepower with their residual SMGs and scouts or whatever. You're actually balancing the table by only having 2 pistols in those players. I understand the idea of getting the bomb down. I just don't think Nuke is the most viable map for that particular approach. But we'll see how it develops as we get into round number 4. Great start from Heroic on the CT side of Nuke, as Mertz lights them up there with this scout. Beautiful headshot towards Electronic, and now Edward.
That's some skill. That's a fast shot to find Edward at that range with the scout. Sure, they've got the weapon advantage, but the scout is headshot kill. 70 approximate damage body shot. He's going to find his third as well on Zeus, who was already damaged and already tagged up. Flamey's within 1 shot range as well to a body shot on that weapon, but Flame's going to sneak out and find him instead. Won't be the ace. Haven't had an ace yet.
We haven't, have we?
I mean, we're only on map 2.
That's true.
It's not that surprising, but just to note, you sounded shocked.
Yeah, it's like, wow, what a stat. Yeah, but you're all right. We're waiting. We had a 4 carefully, but we'll ring the bell when the ace comes in, as Mertz, he manages to get 3 there with the scout. Great work. These shots, you normally see like an opening shot like that, that's fine, but the second one to land so cleanly as well, he's a great sniper and a very young player still. Like you mentioned, came from an academy team in 2018, now finds himself as not so much a household name, but certainly one that's dangerous. People know you can't mess around with him with the scoped weapons, as he's very aggressive, very flashy, and on his day can be a top-tier sniper, I would say.
And had a brief tenure as well in North, who made a number of changes last year to try and get back to the top. Obviously, North, just to speak of that, had a massive trajectory going upward for a while Astralis was struggling. Looked like they could even be the #1 in Denmark when it was sort of a 3-way battle with Heroic then at the time as well.
Yes.
Sort of end of probably early 2017, I think we'd say. With Astralis having such a year as they did last year, being so dominant and taking over the #1 world spot, that put a lot more pressure on North. So that kind of forced their hand to make changes. And Mertz is, I don't know if you want to call it fortunate or unfortunate, given that he's been moved out of that team and that organization, but finds himself, as you say, in another position, another team where he can really make a name for himself. S-Tag up close, finds 2. Good position to be in with an AK-47 carried over, and we could be looking at that 5-0 start yet again for Heroic. Good Molotov by Mertz as well at the minute mark to slow down any approach back toward ramp, and that's a good read. They lost outside. Next most likely position you want to try and take on the CTs is ramp. You want to try and open up the map in any way that you can.
Fantastic work from Heroic so far. That's S-Tag, a player that's actually benched off this lineup in 2018. Return to form, it seems, as now we have a 5 versus 2. Simple and Zeus left in a pretty much impossible situation. Mertz, nice discipline there. Doesn't have to overcommit to this. Does not want to lose that AWP. Money, sure, it's okay, but you want to be established. You want to be high rolling on this particular map, as he does make sure he's guaranteeing the round and surviving with the AWP. Ramp is not a bomb site. They need to get down towards lower. So that's holding the main choke points here. BlameF getting towards the lobby. And now they've got them contained within the ramp room. Mertz has confirmed that. He knows they can't go towards the ladder position. I think at this point, NaVi will just have to save. They certainly will now. It's going to be Simple who's being hunted. Mertz, this might not be the smartest player. I agree. Fall back, my friend. Losing the AWP is not worth picking up 1 kill on Simple. Let him survive, sure. He'll have a rifle next round, but that's much better than him picking up your roll. And there we have it. Lovely work from S-Tag outside to open things up. We are seeing a change of setup, and you saw that tactical pause from NaVi. Mertz goes towards the ramp. S-Tag gets up close and personal towards outside. Works perfectly.
Importance of Simple saving that Krieg as well is that he has 0 residual cash.
Indeed.
If he went down after the time, you don't get anything without a bomb plant, so he would have had nothing. But more importantly, even with the max loss bonus, he wouldn't have been in a prime situation. Now they can sort of buy around him, and I think that's why we've got the timeout. They're discussing how to make that approach work. Everyone contributing, aside from Freiburg, a little bit slower to start. Great nuke player in his own right. Think back, I mean, we talk about dominant periods. Astralis has kind of set the benchmark now for nukes, certainly on this iteration and in this meta. They've obviously gone to unknown territory with 27-0 on LAN, but similar stat to that, 27-0 with some online games included was on IP with Freiburg, and he knows how to play this map, so he's a little bit slow to start, but he'll bring a wealth of experience, and he's certainly familiar and comfortable here.
Well, they're looking regimented. Like I said, Peacemaker will have done his homework here. He'll know their setups. He'll know their tendencies. He'll know how to exploit that. We saw the adjustment out there with the close rifles outside. Now they've got inside their heads. Where does the AWP go now? It was ramp before. Is that going to be changed up? We will find out. Mertz heading towards the heaven position this time. So will he stay up there for the rush? It looks likely. He throws the initial incendiary to allow his 2 CTs remaining in the upper bomb site to hold on to the majority of their utility. A little bit of wall bang damage there as BlameF looks to get in towards the hut here. 2 more kills for S-Tag once again. Freiburg starts to get stuck in as well. It's another nightmare scenario. Look at the damage inflicted. BlameF looking to close things out. That's the bomb going down. Flamey stuck behind the fence. Another fantastic round for Heroic. They're going up 6-0 here. No problem at all. And it just seems like Heroic have full control of this. NaVi a little bit stunned at this point. They've taken a few timeouts. They've tried slow pace. They've tried fast pace just there. Not finding the picks. And S-Tag finding 2 more kills at the very start of the round.
Yeah, NaVi's got to really come to form. You said it, they haven't played this map much at all.
Not in the last 5 events, twice. So it's always a bit of a wild card for them. Sometimes they look lights out on it. Sometimes they look a little bit lost.
That's NaVi in general, isn't it? I mean, it's so much individual reliance on maps like these when the tactical just isn't there for them. And I mean, you talk about 0-3 on pistols. It's another map where just a few rounds on T side can really shape the entire outcome, because they're certainly capable of having a CT side just as dominant, just as impenetrable as Heroic seemingly are. Again, S-Tag's going to play up close. They're giving him a lot of map control, a lot of ground to work with outside. They've gone for the smoke execution once. Even that was mistimed, and they got caught out for it.
That's true, but they have got the opening pick here.
You love this position, Henry.
That dog, yeah, but he might not even get a chance to see it. What is this man on today? S-Tag. The aggression is just relentless. He can't help himself to a third, but the damage has already been done. He pushes through, and you're right. I love that position. Would have been great to see it happen, but I'm even more excited about the prospect of multiple kills every single round from that young man there. It's going to be Flamey left in a 4 versus 1. Again, no option but to save here. The money is in a dire situation, not getting even close to any bomb plants here. Heroic running away these CT rounds, but you have to remember that this map is a little bit of an odd one in CSGO. You can actually have landslide halves on maps like Nuke, CT side. You can have a 13-2, a 12-3, and you're still thinking, NaVi, if they win the pistol, they can recover this, no problem. Heroic can't take their eye off the prize at this point. Sure, it's going great. They'll be enjoying themselves, but need to make sure they don't get carried away. This is working great so far. Continue what you're doing, but don't go chasing for the kills. Don't be hunting Flamey in scenarios like this, for example, as he will punish situations. But S-Tag gets his 4th. He must be going absolutely massive here. 12 kills to his name after 7 rounds.
Yeah, after 7 rounds, and look at the money. They're into 5 digits of economy right now on the Heroic side. So not only is NaVi struggling to get kills to make rounds work, they're letting that money spiral out of control and therefore have a much harder task of trying to work their way back into this game. It's not like Overpass where within a few rounds they'll break down the CTs and suddenly have the advantage. So it's an uphill battle the whole way back through this half. For the favorites, keep in mind, in this game, quite heavily if you consider the stats coming into this, but NaVi, they're going to take another tactical pause. Zeus looked rather quiet during the last round. He does this time as well. It's Electronic that seemingly is the most vocal.
They're a map up right now. It's a little bit of a brutal format here, ladies and gents. There are only 4 teams competing at this tournament. NaVi, certainly the standout name. It's a $50,000 prize pool here. If you win the first game, you're going to be in the winner bracket final there. 2 wins, and you can be in the grand final. 2 losses, you will be out of the tournament in general. And these are best of 3 games. So this is the first of the tournament so far. We kick things off on Overpass. It was looking good for Heroic. Similar scene to this, not as one-sided, but they had a great start there and they started to slip away. This is 7-0 though. NaVi still a little bit hamstrung as they only have 4 AKs here. Zeus down to a Deagle, a lack of utility as well. They'll drop early smokes and try and show that outside play once again. This time, S-Tag not going to be finding multiple kills at the start of the round, so some good news at least. As Mertz holding round. This looks guaranteed he'll find the first kill. Nice jump by Zeus. Well, he's pushing off position, but he buys himself some time to fall back towards lower with the incendiary dropped.
Zeus in behind the box, Deagle in hand, at least something to work with that ramp, but really not confident enough to take the fight, and smartly, as you should do in the CT position on ramp, back away early, have the information, but play in such a way that your teammates can rotate and you stay efficient. So they give up control. Flamey with the AK wants to push through. Zeus goes down. That's the pistol only, but Asilian finding the frag. They now confirm he's down below. Blame spots the foot of Flamey, but was already in a position to be taken down in return, so backs off yet again. But again, staying alive, S-Tag's able to get the kill off that information, and now they find themselves in another 5-on-3.
Absolutely do. It's not looking too good, but this man is still alive. But you can see 1 smoke, a Molotov, a couple of flashbangs. They're not together. They're just hoping for mistakes to be made here. The longer you wait, the further the clock ticks down. We've hit the 30-second mark here, and a smoke from Freiburg. That's absolutely everything. Flamey gets a kill, but Electronics removing the situation. Simple has to find multiple kills, but 2 of them towards main entrance. It's just going to be too much to handle. At this one, a consolation plant, perhaps from Electronic. He will get that bomb down, I would say, trying to bait the CTs out, but it's not going to work out for them. CTs once again heroic with 8 on the board, 3 surviving. No plan there for NaVi. Even the maximum loss bonus won't save them at this point.
And how many plants have we had?
0.
0. There's not been a single plant. It's not even like they're running out in the post plant because the battles have been so fierce getting to the site. They're just not executing. They're not getting, okay, 1 went to time finish, but again, that's no plant. That was simple saving the Krieg. They haven't even saved weapons in the other. Yes. They haven't gotten upper, they haven't gotten lower, they've not had any map control at any point. And when they do, it's been granted. In other words, Heroic's backing off to play separate angles and allowing them to walk into it.
We have painted quite the bleak picture, but rest assured, if NaVi can get 4 rounds, they'll be okay. We'll see how it develops. But this round, I don't think will be the start of that. We'll see. They're changing the pace up this time as they send 4 players towards outside. Mertz spots him, can't quite connect the shot. Difficult one. You just get the footing there and get a bit of indicator as to where they might be. And they send 5 players towards lower. But Freiburg was on the steps before. This time, playing on the vent means he can just go for 1 kill, jump back in those vents and wait for backup.
Cillian has to back away. Nade as well. That'll do a bit more damage, but he's forced off the angle importantly because this is the crossfire we talked about. Both stairwells covered. Freiburg has the other side of it. You're walking into essentially a certain slaughter.
1 smoke, so where do you put that? It's a crossfire, right? So you're going to be challenging someone, whatever happens here. I assume they smoke off Freiburg. That was the position that troubled them before. Indeed, they do. And Asilian now has to deliver. He needs at least a kill here. If he goes down with nothing, there's a chance for NaVi.
And they'll get the gun off that. Freiburg's going to swing immediately back through decontamination, knowing their next step, knowing that they want the site, but Simple reads that as well and sneaks in behind him. So they've discerned exactly the setup down below Mertz. He's the man on the op. He couldn't get off shots quickly, but he should have been more passive in his position because he gets caught out by a CZ of all weapons. And now there's a chance, but despite their first bomb plant, weapons picked up, it's still a 2-on-2. It's not done yet. I would say they've got the advantage now that Simple's at least burrowed back into the control room stairs. Blame wants to work back in from decon, but Flamey has that covered off with an AWP.
Should be a done deal here. Simple holding towards the radio room, gets taken down. Flamey though, he has got the AWP. HP not a factor. Have they got a smoke to actually veil the defuse here? They have it, and now that should be an S-Tag with so much pressure applied. The bomb's ticking away. Flamey stays calm, and they get their first round on the board. It was with CZs and Deagles, a fast approach towards outside. The key moment was that one smoke they had. They had to choose where to use it. They decided to segregate Freiburg and challenge Cillian. 5 players towards him. Like I said, if he doesn't get 1 kill here, Heroic are in trouble. Flamey comes down to a 2 versus 1, but he had such an advantage there. The lack of utility. Had they had the smoke for the bomb, pretty much guaranteed Heroic could have got that defuse off, but not going to happen as Flamey gets them on the board at least, and it's not too late. Sure, 8-0 down, but now 8-1. Build off that. If you can get a couple more in a row, break the money, you can actually bring this right back. It's never over until you get to the end of the half. We'll see whether they can continue with this spree. Remember, that's a loss bonus gone now. If they lose the next round, they're back in financial ruin. Heroic should have enough cash here for a full buy this round. I haven't been tracking it as efficiently as I should. It's been a slow start of the year for us, Matt. Getting back into the swing of things ourselves. We'll see how it goes. But I assume they've probably got around 2K residual after this, I would say. Well, even more than that.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say they were sitting. I was going to say around 10K 2 rounds ago, right? So they haven't been going to a double op setup, which is going to be your biggest money eater. So yeah, they're going to be fine. Freiburg on 300. He's the only one in question. But again, it's going to be an uphill battle for NaVi. You said it though. 3 rounds to 4 rounds certainly have a chance.
Absolutely.
It is Nuke. Edward this time going a little bit more quickly. Smokes down. Good thing about the smokes, despite that the execution's been slow, is there hasn't been a gap as of yet.
Sure.
Blame's still going to find Simple though. He's been slow on this map, I have to say. And slow for him is still a pretty impressive amount of kills, but it's not what we're used to seeing in terms of the impact. Hasn't been able to open up rounds in quite the same way. In fact, Flamey last time had to clutch it out. Did damage onto both Flamey and Zeus by way of utility, but it is still going to be Edward to take out Mertz on the stairs. Now this time, the interesting thing about Edward getting that kill is it's before the setup's in position, but Freiburg finds one upper, immediately drops, and Edward's not ready for him to arrive.
Huge round here for Heroic. Like we said, if they can pick this one up, NaVi are in a lot of trouble. AWP for Zeus, Electronic on the AK-47. It's not an impossible round, but Electronic, he'll have to deliver the goods here. He boosts himself up towards heaven. Now, this is a very common position. CT should be aware of this prospect and be looking towards this spot, no problem whatsoever. It's going to be Zeus that goes down, so that confirms the round. Electronic do any damage. At this point, it's quite trivial, really, because even if he finds 2 kills, NaVi will still be in a very difficult spot, and Heroic will still be able to buy. We'll see what happens here. He holds on, 20 seconds remaining. There's a kill, presumably. It's a scrappy one, but it will do. And will be traded out? Indeed, he will. Blame have to get it and find the 9-1. Reset NaVi. They might just go for the force here, considering Simple can afford AK armor. The rest of them, not so much. They might just go for Deagle armor, AK on him, another fast approach towards outside, perhaps, and just go for that real gamble. If they do it and lose the round, that could be the game, really, because they'll have very little time to recover and get anything left on the board. The other option, take the full eco here, get the AWP on Simple next round and the AKs in the next. I would say that option's the more viable one for me, but we'll see. They've gone for it.
Yeah, I'm not... Yeah, I guess I'm not against it. This is more NaVi of what we're used to last year, seeing them from behind and they just say, right, Simple time. Get him onto a weapon and let him go to work because they're going to have to. Aztec caught off. This time it's fast. Much like the pistol, they go over the top, drop down, and catch out the player inside of Annex. But Freiburg's able to recover, and so too is Mertz on the AWP, which means it's back to the advantage. Only for a moment, though. On the Heroic side, Zeus is able to get a Cillian. That'll pull us back. As Simple burrows in, bomb already down. The pace picked up by NaVi, and seemingly it works. Crossfire this time in their favor. Lower is so hard to retake on the CT side. 1 and done for Flamey. SMG not able to collect on 2, but Mertz now knows the situation, trying to use nades as best he can to enter back in and can at least distract them long enough. He's got a teammate working down from ramp. That'll allow him working much closer to the site. That's why Zeus pulls out of the stairs. He wants to get aggressive. He wants to allow Simple to focus back the other direction. He'll take this fight. All he needs to do, even though he gets the kill, is slow it down, keep them off the bomb, and Simple can do exactly that. Go back and find where the second player is arriving from.
FlameF with a little play for the Ninja defuse at the end. A desperate one, but Simple was waiting for it. Great stuff, and that's the second round now for NaVi on the board. Both of the victories they've had have been with pistols and 1 AK there as well. A faster approach, as you mentioned, seems to be working out for them. When they slow it right down on the defaults, they seem to get picked off 1 by 1. They look a little bit lost. You just send 5 players in the same position, all gunning for the same objective. It seems to be working out for them. I feel like that's going to be the main objective going forward. They're getting much more control, much more picks. This time, though, Mertz with the AWP outside, and S-Tag has been so good in this position, will be joining him.
Yeah, he played that now 3 times. Certainly, they have to consider the up-close angle, so bring in a second player, and that might be the way to go about it. You can tell they're looking for him. But he's played this smoke so well. They've already cleared it. He gets behind them. They turn to look. He only finds 1. Still, though, a chance that they can get more. Mertz taking the aggro away, and watch the secret entrance. Blame's already there. He's got one, backs off, and Freiburg is in position behind the smoke as well.
Wow, they're all isolated now. Every single NaVi player is in towards his position. The CTs are aware of it. They've bought themselves so much time with that smoke. I don't see a way NaVi win this round unless Simple somehow gets a 90-degree shot on Freiburg. He flashes himself to safety. He knows he just needs to stay alive here. Buy time for those rotations. Good shot from Flamey, but a good reply as well from Asilian. 3-on-2. Electronic desperately trying to get that bomb down here. This is a key frag here. Whoever wins this duel could be winning the round as well. Asilian rotates through. Flamey takes him down. It's Flamey, though, in the 2 versus 1. He has a smoke, 40 seconds here, but such a difficult procedure to get that bomb and find frags.
Yeah, get the bomb at decon, and timing everything. Couldn't get through the door cleanly. He already had Blame in behind him. That would have been a nearly impossible task, and as we've seen it now, it was 8-0, 8-1, 9-1, 9-2, back and forth rounds. Still no economy being built up by NaVi, and again, this not a full round reset, but it will be a reset in terms of weapons.
They've got $2,000 per player. They might be in another position. They go, you know what, CZs only, or take the full eco. They'll get 1,900 each next. That's enough for Galil's, AKs, and armor. Oh, Edward's gone for a last-second UMP, no armor. So I think that suggests, yeah. Okay, I was about to say, if he's done that, you kind of are committed. That's not going to be any use to you about the armor at all. So there we go. They're going for it. It worked before. The only rounds they've won so far have been with pistols. You can't really argue with the logic, but they've taken so long. The CTs have actually got lobby control before they've even arrived. That is a mess of a round.
Yeah, that's a mess. You have 20 seconds, excuse me, in the freeze time.
Yeah.
Going with the old school meta, sure. 15 seconds. It's been a while.
But
20 seconds to buy, and they hesitated on it so long. Edward did it. You have to wonder the communication in that situation. They all run back, and you're right. They just give everything away. Heroic takes full advantage of it.
Now, that's one of those times. If someone's overcalled Zeus and said we should buy, and he's had to run back and accept it and allow it to happen, then he's going to be very upset with that. But if that's his call and they've decided to go in with it, then you're going to feel like, well, we kind of threw that round away. Yes, needed to be more aware of Heroic's presence there towards the lobby, but great push by them. They just had a tactical timeout. They know they've reset NaVi. Why not get stuck in? Why not change the pace and deny them any sort of outside presence? And you can do that best by getting stuck in. It will be Asilian with the second frag for the CTs, but Mertz will find a third. It's Simple to get a kill, but he only gets an SMG in response. BlameF should find at least one of these kills. Simple will be actually okay. Brilliant to find that shot, but he absolutely is left in the 3 versus 1. He's got no bomb, no time. He has got the Molotov. At this point, he just wants a kill to get another $600. We'll get that.
Swings it, absolutely gets that. He might go for this now that he's got that extra 600 as well, because they will be building off of it. Bomb down on ramp. He wants to play the box to cover off his angle, hoping that he was going to get peeked based on noise cues from Decon. He's found Mertz. 9 seconds. He can still get a plant off of this.
Oh my god.
4 seconds is all you need on the clock to do it, and the vent no longer enters into the site, which means he gets that down. Freiburg has to go the long way. This would be an ace from a 1 versus 3 by Simple. Who else? As he pulls back the Deagle, he might get position on this. Freiburg's working up the stairs. He's got the head angle. Deagle couldn't find the shot. Freiburg manages just barely to save the round for Heroic.
An absolutely unbelievable effort there from Simple. I was building it up. Yeah, he wants to get a couple of kills here, but I forgot who I was dealing with there. Simple, so close, tantalizingly close to the ace. He knew where Freiburg's position. He had the pre-aim, 4 kills to his name. It would have been an absolute historic clutch there, but Freiburg comes out on top. It rattles the defense, though. Heroic know how close they were to losing that one. And the bomb goes down. At this point, NaVi need these last 2 rounds. They have to keep force buying here. It comes down to round number 14, a couple of AKs. Some Deagles, a UMP here, and it's been a real rough half for them. This could be a quick second map. As we'll see, Flamey's got Glock armor. You don't see that every day. That means a bit of, there we go. So there's a Deagle being dropped in the field. I was about to say that really isn't ideal, but he's got the Deagle. CZ now, another slow exit from the T-spawn, but I'm sure they'll be more aware of the lobby positions now. S-Tag actually getting aggressive here. Lovely shot, takes down Edward. That's his job done. Can fall back to the safety of main entrance now.
Flame caught out by Flamey. Slips under the gun. He's been playing aggressively inside of the hut. Most rounds, we don't see it enough because there hasn't been a lot of pressure applied on the upper bomb site. The only time they've really gotten in there at all is actually when they drop from silo and wrap onto the main entrance. So manages to evade the crosshair placements, get the opening pick, and now with a bit of weapons, they can try and work towards seemingly ramp, but more of the choke points to open up map control. M4 carried over for Flamey, complementing the two AK-47s, 11-2. Third round really has to be the objective for NaVi in this half. Keep in mind, if they actually win this one, money's going to be gone. They could find 11-4. It's still possible. Flamey's going to find a Cillian as well and make that even more likely. That's how much the damage was done by Simple finding those 4 kills at the very least. Position from Electronic. I think Mertz thought he was committed onto the stairwell. That's going to open it yet further. 2 M4s still upstairs. One's going to rotate. I think S-Tag rather, got down the vent, so he's ready below. They've split themselves up. But NaVi, not committed, are still just playing for information. S-Tag back up the vents. They should now know that there's 2 upstairs. Zeus goes immediately onto that kill. Thankfully, Simple's on the task, and Electronic finds S-Tag immediately after. That was a bit of an oversight from Zeus, because if he's coming back up from lower, that suggests to me that one of them's already up there. He's the rotation back that direction.
Could have fallen apart, but they hold their nerve, and it's the 3rd round on the board there for NaVi. Like we said, 11-4, absolutely doable. They could bring this right back in the second map and close it out 2-0. Heroic have looked fantastic here, but every round given away on the CT side of Nuke is going to be important here. Now, NaVi in the territory where they can even afford to lose a pistol. If they get the 11-4, they still objectively have a fighting chance even though they go down 3-0. So, Deagles, Scouts, and Flamey with the opening shot. Once again, it's Mertz and that Scout. Had some great shots before, but I don't think we'll be seeing many headshots this time. Presumably the smokes will go down and the headshots will be delivered. It's going to be Edward finding that second kill and Flamey holding the lobby. No problem whatsoever. He'll probably be dropped by a Cillian at this point, which does ring true, but they know exactly where he is. It's 11-4.5. Matt, we did say coming into this one, sure, 9-0 down, 8-0 down, whatever. As long as you get those final few rounds towards the end, as long as you get something to work with there, every game is still possible, and especially on Nuke. This is the one map, I would say 11-4, you're not that worried about it. You know that this team, NaVi, they win the pistol, they actually probably have quite a fighting chance.
Yeah, absolutely, but pistols have certainly been a problem for them so far in this series. They're 0-3 on that. You're right, Nuke, if they can win it and they have any sort of team play at all on the CT side, they can shut down a team like Heroic.
Now, one thing I will say is as well, Nuke CT side, you don't need that much homework for it. It is about communication and rotations, but as long as you've got 5 players that understand the game and have played on a Nuke team before, they're fine. It's the T side, the timing's there, and working against it. This team has been together a couple of weeks with deciding a blame F, so this could still fall apart, my point.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely so. And vice versa for NaVi, though. I mean, you say that it doesn't take a lot of tactical discipline or structure to play on Nuke. Everyone knows the positions, its timings. We know communication has broken down on NaVi in the past in certain matches, so I also still have a bit of scrutiny toward them. The other thing to consider as well, not only have the pistols been a problem, but how much can they really take map control? And instead they've been playing passive. We didn't see much innovation from their smokes. We only saw the outside smokes. How much do they really want to go against Heroic, considering, again, not their map choice, don't play it often? Are they going to be too passive? And if, again, they lose this pistol, you really have to put the Jets on and try and pull back immediately.
We have no utility on either side here. No kits, no grenades, albeit a decoy for Freiburg, I suppose. So this suggests they're going for brute force towards the ramp from here, try and get down towards lower as quickly as they can, or maybe a different A split, go towards the ladder and try and get up that way. There's a couple of options here. I would say lower is more likely. Flamey needs to fall down here. He is alone, but he's baiting and Simple. Oh, this is the godlike play. If he can peek now, he's got so many kills in front of him. Difficult shots with the USP. He can't deliver the second. Great work from Mertz to get 2 kills there.
Yeah, jumping, it's hard to find a headshot with the USP. That kill as well on the backside of ramp is going to allow them to rotate back out of it. Simple slowed them down enough. Rotations came through the vents. Rather than mess with that, let's continue to isolate off the CT players. Edward being the next that they want to do that to. Great second shot to find a Cillian. Both go down. Bomb as well toward lockers, and Mertz has to slow things considerably as Freiburg tries to work back around from outside. They'll pinch Edward, but he manages to scurry back inside of the heaven position. He's not exposed any longer to Freiburg's angle. And he can try and dictate the pace. They're going to look for him, and they get it. Mertz, smart play, backs down CT, elongates the position, and the headshot shows 4th pistol for Heroic of 4.
Yeah, that is significant. That really is. It's going to be such a gut punch towards NaVi there. Just when you feel like you're getting back into it, got a couple of rounds in your belt at the end of the last half. It all falls apart as you get the opening picks as well there. Great setup as well. I love it when we get that bait and switch towards the ramp room. Who better to play that position as well? But like I said, the USP in that sort of position is a nightmare. If you've got multiple players there, you miss the first couple of bullets, it's very difficult to recover with it. Perhaps a 5-7 at close range would have been great, but wasn't expecting so many players perhaps. They have force ball here. It's the shotgun that's come out to play, and Electronic does get the first. He headshots Merz under 1 HP. As the grenade comes through, it won't find the shots, but Heroic certainly do. It's a 4-on-2, and NaVi's woes continue here, Map. And Simple is left with the impossible task of the 4 versus 1. With a smoke and an HE, they took a bit of a gamble here, but now full eco next round. It's going to be 13-4 now, presumably 14-4 after the eco, and maybe a quick second map.
Yeah, it looks like a very quick second map, but not to the team you might have expected. I suppose Nuke coming into it certainly sways things a little bit. Part of me doesn't want to discount NaVi until it's over.
Indeed, I agree.
Certainly they get guns out, they can make this comeback a possibility. Overtime is a factor as well in Counter-Strike, and certainly in a best of threes it can be, 15-15. We play additional rounds. Simple, good position, but really it's a consolation at this point. Should find Mertz, that's easy. Second shot, very swift. He loves to show off skill even in rounds that are well lost.
Yeah, I kind of felt all 4 coming in there, but just a 2. I say just, but there we go. He will go down. They save absolutely nothing there, and this has to be an eco now for NaVi, unless they're feeling really saucy today and want to go for, and they do. They're not messing around at all. 2 force buys at least, Flaming Electronic all in. I guess at this point, you've got to take every chance you can get. They've gone for the SMGs. They don't want to allow Heroic to get to round 14. They're going to try and surprise them with this sort of buy, hoping for another like 5-man push towards upper perhaps. That could be happening. Bit of utility shown towards upper, but that's just a ruse as they head towards the ramp from here. It looks like they're going to be causing a rotation. In fact, it's worked perfectly. Ramp room is open. It actually pushed Flamey out of that position. That could be round in itself because the lower presence just won't be there whatsoever. Oh, Electronic and Simple's down there.
Yeah, that's good positioning from Simple. Great timing. Sneaks out. That's going to drop the bomb. That buys a bit more space for NaVi. Still a 3-on-3 as well, and they know the commitment is lower, so they can position accordingly. Simple trying to be as dynamic as ever is going to rotate back around as well, away from the predictable door in which he already played. Thank you very much. Flame gets away with it. He actually extinguished the flames to allow Simple to push through. But he was ready for it. Not so much this time as Flamey sneaks back in. An upgrade potentially available as well as the MP9 starts to be limited over distance. Freiburg still with the AK, however, looks for the headshot onto Zeus. They've got the position as well on the catwalk. Very difficult to clear without the vent coming in beside Asili, and that spot in a post plant is extremely powerful now.
It absolutely is, and Flamey with no kits, no health, 2 kills to find. It looks like it's done. This was the force buy, pretty much sentenced to force buying every round at this point. NaVi, as they go 14-4 down, can't afford to give much up. Flamey will save an AK. A very small silver lining there for them. We'll see what they can do. He will survive the blast. He gets smoke and AK, Kevlar. That's about it. I'm not sure if they have a tactical pause left. They've had to take a lot of them so far. And at this point, it feels like a lock-in for Heroic. Like we said, NaVi haven't played this map a bunch in the last 5 events, just a couple of times. Doesn't seem like they've been doing much homework on it in the interim. Haven't seen them for a while, but their first tournament of 2019 and second map, 14-4 down. Once again, force buying into it around the saved AK. UMPs, M4s, but like you said, they can still bring this back. Even at this scoreline, it's doable. Just need to find that footing into the game to stabilize themselves, get a few guns up, get in the zone. And Heroic, inexperienced, their first LAN with this lineup.
Well, desperate times, 2 SMGs. Flamey at least gets that AK, but shotgun, you mentioned it's viable. You can play it hot. Not great on rotations, not great on retakes, but if things play into its hands, it's certainly powerful up close. Flamey looks through the flames to try and find a shot toward Freiburg. Good nade, that'll counter off the damage. He takes a bit himself, though. In fact, comes out slightly worse for wear, down to 54 as Freiburg approaches and gets an angle. This AK, oh, I would have certainly pinned that to be his exchange, but Flamey comes out on top. Not the second time. Mertz on top of the red crate, boosted up, finds the shot on the AWP.
I feel like he should have been happy with that advantage he's got. Now they're really desperate at this point. Flamey opened things up, but he gives up the kill. Edward tries to respond, and it's Heroic now hunting for map point to take us to a third, which I believe is Inferno. We'll see Zeus now trying to reclaim the lobby. Is this going to be the player that saves the game? I'm not sure. He's got no utility at all, and not much information, and now no life. 4-on-2, Simple, Electronic. Simple will find one. He's got to find multiple kills here towards upper. Too many targets to deal with, and that should be it. 15-4, Heroic pretty much solidifying their chances here in the second map, as once again, NaVi will have to force buy.
Well, 2 things are quite evident. First and foremost, brilliant performance from Heroic. Great turn of events for them to force this to map 3, because it looks almost certain. But if you're Astralis, you're going to smile and nod and say, thank you, NaVi. You've shown us that you still haven't worked on Nuke. That's going to make their pool a little bit weaker going into the major. And this is something that certainly is a factor.
I don't see any developments on their Nuke. I'm not trying to be rude or dismissive, just saying nothing has changed in their Nuke. At least they have not been working on it to a level where you would expect some sort of great change and to look a little bit more confident than this. But I would rather focus on the success of Heroic. They've looked fantastic, actually. They've done a great job in the pistol rounds, nice turn changes of aggression and calculated pushes. I love what they've done so far. Shout out to S-Tag, who's managed to look fantastic on both halves of this map as they find themselves on map point here. It's now a 5 versus 3, Symbol, Flamey, and Edward. At this point, playing for Pride, even if they get this round, it's not really to do much for them. It's just a matter of time before Heroic close this one out. And we'll see if they can do it. Edward stuck in the back of Garage, not really an impactful position when you just got the FAMAS, no kits, and no real information.
Edward back angle does allow one to pass. That's information for Simple, however. It wasn't like it was completely overlooked, and he steps out late unexpectedly to find S-Tag. A second for Simple, and we're back to a 2-on-2 pulled back by Freiburg. Simple slow, though, and unaware that Blame was also working in the same position. Third's a charm in that instance for Heroic. Flamey, not the best position, but it's also slightly unorthodox, so it might catch them off. And here we go, 15-5. If not, if Heroic find this single kill, we're done. And not only that, they've got the map to play with, which means a bomb plant really puts pressure onto Flamey. He's already moving because he needs information.
What can be done with 30 seconds? Freiburg and Blame F sticking together, as you would expect. They've got the smoke for decom, they've got the Molotov for the window room required. Flamey has to go for the vent, and it's not the same point of access we had before.
Exactly that.
He has to go for the back hall, so this bomb is almost guaranteed to go down, and not really much he can do about this.
It's not like you can play the vent and just hope for a quick rotation with information on both sides. This is a much longer point of approach, and door closed. That's a noise trigger. As soon as that door opens, they're both going to immediately rear their heads in his direction, and Flamey's chances in this are pretty much nil. I'll give him 5% at best of working this out. He's trying desperately. In fact, so desperately, he's spraying the catwalk above.
Yep.
This is Heroic's map all day long. They're going to force out map number 3. Bit of an overcommitment by Blame. He's not got the peek back from Freiburg, but he'll play the bomb. Tap, no kit, 10 seconds, already done. Heroic, great response on Nuke. Good call to bring it into the pool, and not banned by NaVi. Brings to question the strength of their map pool, but we go a third, and great response from Heroic as well after going down quite convincingly on the opening of Overpass.
I think that's the most interesting take from that. You're absolutely right. Their Nuke does not look as strong as